Steve Juan, MMA Mania.
Fernando, you're on with Steve Juan of MMA Mania.
How's it going, Steve?
It's going great. It's our second time talking, Mr. Gonzalez. Thanks for doing the interview again. And first, I want to say congratulations on winning the fight against Marius Zaromskis. That was a great fight.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that was an amazing fight. I loved it.
You definitely had the hometown support, and you're going to have that again when you face Curtis Millender at Bellator 137. It seems like you're fighting every time in Temecula.
Yeah, they like keeping me here, and I don't mind it. Whenever they decide they want me to move or fight somewhere else, I'll do it too. But I love being able to put on a good show for my family and friends. I have a big following here and a big support group, so I love it, man.
Yeah, well, you're putting on a good show because you're winning every single fight you have there. You have yet to taste defeat in Bellator, so I got to start wondering at this point, if you make it 4 in a row against Curtis Millender, do you feel like a title shot is coming up?
I think so. The more I win, but the way I'm winning, I'm putting on a good fight every time, and I know that's what they're wanting to do. So they're wanting to get out of us, and I think when we fight for the belt or whoever I fight against for that title, it's going to be an exciting fight, whether it be Koreshkov, Lima, or even Daly. I think it's going to be a great fight. Obviously, I got to get through Millender first. He's a tough task, and I got to get him out of the way first, and we can go from there.
Right. I know you're not looking past Millender in any way, and of course, Lima and Koreshkov have to settle their dispute before we know if Lima is still the welterweight champion or Koreshkov might upset the apple cart and take the title from him. So, not looking past Millender at all. But let me ask, since you've had 3 sterling performances so far, what do you think there is for you to improve upon as you go in to face Millender?
I'm always constantly trying to improve little aspects of my game. Anything that just like I look at my opponent to see if there's any openings or things that I can see. I do the same for myself. I see where I'm open, or if there's any type of little things that I can fix. That they're going to be looking at when they're up to fight me. So I try to correct any mistakes that I make, and obviously try to pick apart some of the things that they're doing wrong and try to exploit that for the fight.
Well, speaking of picking things apart, do you take anything away from Millender's fight with Brennan Ward and think you can learn from what you saw in that fight?
For sure. One of the things I noticed is he's really fast, got good reach. That fight was it could have really gone either way. I think for him it was more of him being thrown onto a big stage on, televised. Everything for his first fight for Bellator was probably played a big factor in his performance. So I think he's going to come out a little bit more comfortable, and it's obviously this one's a little bit of a smaller venue as opposed to the first fight he did. So I think I'm going to get the best Curtis Millender, and that's who I trained my butt off for. So, obviously I'm going to go out there to get that win, and I've prepared hard for a tough Curtis Millender.
A lot of his fights go the distance. He doesn't normally have quick fights, so I'm assuming you're expecting a 3-round war with him.
Yeah, I train for the distance all the time, and it's just because you never know, it could be tomorrow if somebody gets injured and they say, hey, Fernando, you want to take the title shot? I'd jump on that in an instant, I try to train myself to be ready for a 5-round fight. And when I do that, if it ends quick, perfect. But if not, I know I'm ready for 3 rounds for sure.
When you look at his style and you look at his previous fights and his experience, where do you think is the one critical aspect that you can steal the fight away from him if that's like his strength?
He likes to strike, so that's a lot of my game as well. So I think it's just gonna depend on whose night it is. I'm training my butt off to put on a good show and to be able to finish him impressively. So that's my game plan every time, So I don't really know, what he's doing, but I just train my butt off to win.
you said the pressure was on him the first time because he had a big event and he got thrown into a new match at the last minute. Do you think he's going to be a little more calm and focused this time?
I think so. I think he'll, like I said, I'm training for the best Curtis Millender. I think that first fight played a big factor because of, I've been through that kind of experience where you switch your opponents and then obviously you're fighting for a big promotion. And the way he did, he kind of just jumped in there. So he's dangerous. Obviously he got in there and fought against the top level guy and on a big stage like he did right away, he just kind of got thrown into it and, it didn't go his way, but I mean, he did drop Brennan Ward and that fight could have easily gone the other way if had it been his night, but it wasn't. And I think he's going to learn from that. And I think he's going to be a better fighter fighting me, this upcoming show.
Right. And now, speaking of different opponents that they could have had, there were original fights that have been rescheduled, remade since then in the welterweight division, and now we're going to get to see Michael Venom Page in July, and that's somebody that potentially you could be facing down the line in a number one contenders match.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest thing in joining Bellator was, obviously everybody wants to go for the belt, but my biggest thing is just to be able to compete against the top level guys in the world. I've been doing this for so long that I just want to have those type of fights. I want to be able to go out there and put my heart and my nuts on the line, and show that I have heart and my determination to win. I think that's what I do it the most for. So, if it's Michael Venom Page or any of the top welterweights, I'm training my ass off for every single one of them. So expect a great fight with any of them.
Right. Well, you say you've been doing this a long time, and that's certainly true. But I also feel like your Bellator performances are showing us that right now, at 31 years old, you're peaking. It seems like you're hitting the prime of your fighting career just right now.
Yeah, I feel great. And like I said, I think the biggest factor on the way my performances have been on these fights is that I have the time to prepare properly. At a weight class that I'm supposed to be at. Before I was at 205, 185 because they were short notice fights, and obviously I like to eat, so I would stay. And I think the drop and being able to dedicate myself to my craft is doing all the work for itself, and it's me just trying to push myself as hard as I can to continue to get better, and I think that's what I've been doing.
Now, what do you make of the fact that Curtis Millender is called courteous Curtis Millender? You can't expect a lot of smack talking from a guy whose nickname is Courteous.
Yeah, you never know. You're gonna get guys that are, obviously he seemed like a real respectful guy, but he's still going to get in there to try to hurt me. So, the courteous is more likely going to go away the day of the fight. So I got to put my hands on it.
I'm sure you will. And I know you're looking forward to that fight, but, in general, what advice do you have since, you've got more experience, you've been around longer? What in general would you say, besides the nerves, which we've already talked about, what would you tell Millender when he's stepping up to face you?
I'm not fearful. I've been in there with some of the top guys, so he's gonna be in a fight. God willing, everything goes well, and I'm gonna get that victory. But for sure, it's gonna be one hell of a fight.
Absolutely. So I know it's a few weeks away yet, so you're probably not making the final cut. But how's the weight right now? How's everything looking?
Everything's going good. I'm pushing hard and training hard. Normally I try to taper off towards the end of the week, or the last week before the fight, just so I'm fully healed up and no injuries. But now everything's going on track so far. So thank God for that.
Yep. So you'll be ready, willing, and able to face him coming up on May 15th at the Pechanga Resort and Casino, which I almost think they ought to call that the house that Gonzalez built at this point, because you're always there. Your fans are always there.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's the best feeling, man. To hear them screaming and yelling and cheering me on. it's cool. It's one of the best feelings in the world, and that's why I love fighting at home. I don't mind fighting other places either, but man, it's a different experience to have that many people showing the love and support.
If you do get that title shot, they've got to have it at Temecula. Where else could they do it?
For real, right?
Exactly. So I want to give you a chance before we wrap it up. Throw out your usual plugs, sponsors, social media, anything you want to mention before we wrap.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, I want to give a special thanks to all my sponsors that have been helping me throughout the years and pushing me through these fights. As far as the plastering, LA Pallet Jack Forklifts, Dr. Tory Chiropractor. He's been with me since I was in 10th grade. He's been keeping me healthy. Heritage Tattoo and Nutrition Zone. And my most recent one that just signed with me, a good buddy of mine from school, R&R Roofing. So yeah, thanks to those guys who are keeping me in the gym, training hard, and keeping my bills up to date so I can be able to train.
Absolutely. It's good to go in there with no worries. And we'll be looking forward to that fight on May 15th, Pechanga Resort and Casino in Temecula, California. And you'll be going up against Curtis Millender.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. It's our pleasure. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.